WEMFradio.com.
Test.
Hey, I'm Pat B. Adam Willis is out tonight, but you're listening to the Geek Down on WEMF Radio. That's funky indeed, yo. The man started the cue a little early. You know what that means? It means it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be a messed up. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes I got to compose myself. I blame Mike. Mike came in the house spreading disease.
I am spreading disease. I'm a little
shame on you.
I am a little Mary Typhoid over here.
I'm trying to keep me a little, try to get some distance, man. Trying to get caught up.
No, don't get close to me. You only get hurt.
I don't need to be twice.
You got kids, man. You may want to
Heartbreaker.
Put a wall between them before you need another smallpox vaccine.
Yeah, for
It's
real.
like 15 joints.
For real.
Right
Thank you, United States Army.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Geek Down. You are joining us here on WEMFradio.com, or you are watching us live TV/The Geek Down. I am, of course, Pat B. In the house, I'm looking around at a bunch of handsome faces. To my left, we have our illustrious guest, Mr. Dale Stones.
How's it going, y'all?
Hey. All right, and filling in for Black Adam Willis, we have the second blackest man in the in the WWF. I'm talking most about.
Can't even do it with a straight face. Can't do it with a straight face.
My man Lefty Lewis over there.
How's it going, guys?
Doing okay, man. Thanks for joining us with your bumpy knuckles.
Absolutely.
All right, across the table, my homeboy from way back, Orange Juice James.
Peace. Glad to be here today.
Yeah, all right. And of course, he's handsome, he's gritty, he's gruff. I'm talking about just Johnny, and that's enough.
Yep.
Hey. And I'll look across the window to the booth, the man who keeps sounding amazing every week, consistently, religiously, scruffily. DJ Herbie Herb.
Holler.
Like new catchphrase. I'm liking that.
The extra inflection.
But
I'm trying it out.
with the hard R, okay.
He tossed it out.
This dude.
Tossed it out. He's gonna see how it works.
Constant
You got-
never gonna do it again.
No, you gotta do it at the close of the show, though, man. You gotta open and close with it, man.
No, you gotta, Herb. You gotta stick with it for at least a day.
Yeah, do
You
a
do.
favor.
24-hour rule.
Throw up one of these and go holler back, player. All right, we have an action-packed, fun-filled show for you. But first, I want to do a little special thing for an audience of one. My buddy Kevin's birthday is coming up. Kevin Bradbury, you old food dog, Mark-ass trick. I hope you're having a good time. Are you anyone got some choice words for this clown?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on Jive Turkey because that's one I feel like not nearly enough people use.
Mm-hmm.
And I, sir, even though I've not met you, am certain you are a Jive Turkey.
If you're hanging around with the likes of Pat B over here, you're definitely a Mark ass.
Damn, you gotta throw me under the bus like that? Wow. Okay. You know what's it's all good, baby. It's all good. I see how we rolling. Yo, Kevin, happy birthday.
Happy
You rock
birthday,
motherfucker. If I set my soda to them, show somebody spit. All right, so like I said, we do have an awesome show for you. We got news, weirdness going on all over. And I just want to jump into the first news story because it involves everyone's favorite psychopath, Mr. Mel Gibson.
Makes some good
It's not
movies,
my
though.
favorite psychopath.
He makes great movies, man. I can't hate.
He used to make some solid flicks. Yeah,
Makes some great movies, man.
man, it's like Passion of the Christ with a snuff fit, was a religious themed snuff film.
Yeah, don't hate.
Brother.
It did what it's supposed to do. It did what it's supposed to
Had
do.
a conscience, right?
Maybe. I'm at. Yo, that. You know what? Yeah,
No, that was good. That was good.
Well done. Well
Well
played.
played, sir. Well played.
Well played. And we'll tell you why that's well played because the story here is that Mel Gibson's called out the Marvel movies for quote unquote violence without conscience. Now, in a recent interview with the Washington Post, while out promoting his new movie Hacksaw Ridge, Gibson criticized other Hollywood films for the way they present what he described as violence without conscience, movies that willfully display destruction on massive scales and God knows how much loss of life. Now, while he called out Marvel films in particular, he went on to aim his remarks at any
We know why.
cinematic. Yeah.
We know why.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Marvel should come up with some type of government issue thing to stop them from
You mean like a ratings board and commission?
some type of registration act for these superheroes that are going around blowing things up.
That's a good idea. We can make them wear special indicators or marks on their arm. Maybe even a specific armband so we can identify them from a distance.
Or just nuke them from orbit with a helicarrier.
There you go. Yeah, just
Problem solved. Did you just watch Civil War and was overwhelmed by it, dude, or something?
Nah, this is.
I mean, I'm gonna go out on
This is a case of
Yeah.
somebody being a hater because they know that more often than not they're not when their movie's dropping on the same weekend as Doctor Strange. Really though, come on now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
come
no.
on,
Yeah,
let's.
dude.
I really want to see what the box office numbers look like. I mean, this may be a little controversial, me being a veteran and all, but I have zero desire to see Hacksaw Ridge. Zero desire at all.
You think he's just butthurt because he didn't get cast as Doctor Strange himself?
I think he is, honestly. I think he may be.
So he's just gonna
like, I can play this role. Tired as cumber snatch grabbing guy.
The man with the most preposterous name in all of cinema.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
It is the awesomest name ever in cinema.
It's certainly the most British.
It is.
I cannot
It
think
is.
of a more British name than that.
Well,
No,
I will throw Engelbert Humperdinck, but that was a moniker. He
Yeah,
chose
that's
that.
a stage name. Because I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that his normal name was just too boring.
It was Gary Dorsey.
Yeah, you're not selling arenas with Gary
No,
Dorsey.
you're not.
You're not selling out a bar.
But,
You know what I mean?
but Sting's real name is Gordon. All right, this dude chose Sting. You can't mess with a name like Sting.
No.
Engelbert Humperdinck. Like the name itself, you expect a picture of someone getting a wedgie.
I always just picture the egg that fell off of the wall. Help me out here.
Humpty
Dumpty?
Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, I picture
was
Humpty
made
Dumpty.
cool by Shock G and Digital Underground. So, I mean,
Yes, he did.
yeah. Let somebody form like get a hip hop single with Engelbert in the name, or with Cumberbatch can do it, because we have the Doctor Strange review coming up later on, and I thought it was dope. Mike, what did you think of it?
Foreshadow.
Mike did not end up seeing the movie
Neither did
because
I.
the cinema was sold out, and his friends are
Jive Turkey Suckers?
yeah, yes, Jive Turkey Mark Suckers. They're just all like, hey, let's just go home. And I was like, I don't want to argue with you people. It was like 8 o'clock. Dude, my one friend goes to bed at like 10. That's crazy. I was like, dude, it's Saturday. He's like, I'm tired. I'm like,
yeah. Adulting, baby, you're doing it wrong.
yeah. You're supposed to burn the candles at both ends and die early. What's wrong with you?
Dude, I went to go see Bellator in Connecticut. 2 hours of sleep at the drive back to make it back to the Armory for drill the next morning. 2 hours of sleep. Flying down freaking 93, 95. No excuse.
Yeah.
He should have been out.
No,
No
he should've
excuse.
been.
He should have
should've
seen
been.
Doctor Strange.
Dan, if you're listening, we all agree that you were wrong.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
So take heed. You've been clowned.
yeah.
But back to Gibson. What's going on with old Melly Bell?
All right, so now he's acknowledged that there's violence in his own movies,
Mhm.
and I mean some of his own too. Braveheart,
Mhm.
Apocalypto,
Mhm.
what was it, Paycheck?
Yeah, Payback.
Yeah. Payback, yeah.
Who's
Get the
Payback?
gringo.
Affleck, right?
Affleck was Paycheck.
Okay, yeah. Payback is raw.
Mhm.
And Hacksaw Ridge, which is based off a true story, but like a true war story. And in that movie, from what I've heard, is like the violence in it. I haven't seen it unfortunately myself, but I've heard from like reliable sources that have gotten early taste on that the violence actually makes Saving Private Ryan, that Normandy beach scene,
Mhm.
makes that like pale in comparison.
Mhm.
Which is that's a deep sea, like people picking up their limbs, like, oh god, my testicle, why? and this movie puts them all, like, makes them all look like PG. I'm like, that's legit, that's serious. We're taking notice. But he also acknowledges, yeah, there's violence in my movies, but there's violence with a purpose. You know, the reason becomes clear. There's some kind of moral. Okay, best example is The Passion of the Christ,
Mhm.
which is a movie with a deep religious message. Definitely deep conscious, but also one of the rawest bit of like just explicit violence you'll ever come across. And he's
But I
saying
mean-
he acknowledges, and his movies take that accountability.
I mean, it's not like he wrote the biblical story. So it's like, come on, bro. You work with the material. All you did was put your perspective on the material. The material's already there. So I mean, he could use the Passion of Christ as his reasoning.
You got to look towards the back of the bottle. That's what.
So, I mean, he already has his material. So for him to like try to take credit and say, "Oh, there was a moral story to this," like, bro, you didn't write it. You know what I mean? Like, it was already written. Like, you just took it and just did it. So I mean, give me something that he has done that he had a lot more creative control over, without any sort of hamstring, his hands being tied together to do it. So when it comes to like Hacksaw Ridge, okay, I mean, the only reason he's even willing to say this about that is considering the fact that the main protagonist of the movie was a conscientious objector.
Mhm.
Like minus that dude, we were just talking about how gory the movie is.
Yeah.
Based upon what you said, because I didn't see it either, but from the coming attractions, there's a lot of gore in that movie. What I see, at least on the trailers. So if you take out the one guy running, saving all the lives without a weapon, him being a conscientious objector, if you take him away from it, it's just another gory war movie.
Yeah.
So now you want to get on your high horse and badmouth all the Marvel movies as if it's just violence for the sake of. I find that garbage.
Oh, totally.
Because I mean, there is a moral to these stories when it comes to the Marvel universe. When these big battle scenes happen, granted, I'm not seeing Tony Stark break out a paycheck and pay back the city of New York. All right, I'm not seeing that. But at the same time, there is this element of good versus evil in it. And you know this when a climactic battle scene happens. There is this understanding that the good has to overcome the evil in order to save the people. And
The
the
whole
people are
concept
just
of
are
Captain
collateral
America-
damage. Not to say it like that, but it is.
The whole concept of Captain America Civil War was taking accountability for the damage that they did in the first Avengers movie and in the previous Captain America movies.
Yeah.
And to a lesser degree, the Iron Man movies, but all of those as a culmination of you all did some like extinction level destruction, and you all need to be held.
And it continues like we were talking before the show.
Mhm.
It trickles down because if you anybody out there watches Agents of Shield, like a lot of their plot, especially this season, is revolving around, hey, superheroes are really crazy, and in the Agents of Shield universe, they have the Inhumans, which are supposed to be like X-Men stand-ins, and they're like, you know, it's the X-Men plot retread, which is a whole other argument, but like. At the end of the day, they're like, you know, there needs to be consequences for your actions. You guys just can't run around. You listening, Mel? Consequences? Which, by the way, on another note...
Mel Gibson is watching. Just want to point that
better
out.
be. Look,
I'm pretty sure he's on
Mel
Google
Gibson
this.
strikes me as that guy who gets to say, oh, yeah, you know, it's really violent because that's how it was back in the day. Like, he's hiding behind, like you said, like, that's how it went down with the Passion of the Christ, and this is how it went down on Hacksaw Ridge, and this is war. But you can make a really great war movie with a sensible level of violence. And like to counter that, I remember watching real quick an interview with the creators of Game of Thrones, and they admitted in their first few seasons like we went way too far in some scenes, and like to the point where we're laughing watching them later because it's just comical.
Well, they couldn't help kill Sean Bean over and over again. I mean, they have a problem.
Like the Battle of Blackwater, somebody gets stabbed in the back of the neck, and he sort of falls over, and there's blood everywhere, and they're like, we didn't need to show that for 4 seconds. And it was 1 second would have been fine. You guys get the idea. And like they learn from their mistakes. Like, you know, I'm all for gratuitous violence. I'm not approved by any means, but like, don't come at me with like, you know, try and take the moral high ground on me. Like, don't do that. And he strikes me as a guy who's doing that right now, and that's what irks me.
Yeah, and this is what confuses me about the whole Mel Gibson point of view thing, right? You know, you have the Marvel movies, and all of their morality is pretty ham-fisted. Like, you come at it, and it's just like, I'm Captain America. I am America. I represent our interests, and all of a sudden there's surveillance, and that's the thing that splits everybody in half, and you just have, like, them slash it out and whatever. But what I find interesting is, like, you're never going to see someone's limb get blown off in a Marvel movie.
Nope.
You're never going to see that. But, like, everything Mel Gibson's been in, going back to Mad Max, you see a lot of senseless violence.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just like, you can hide behind whatever you want, but, like, you can't even compare them. They're just apples and oranges.
Yeah.
And also, Mel Gibson's a crazy person. Don't forget that.
But
my
dot
thing
that
is-
I across that T there.
I didn't want to harp too much on like the violence in his cinematic past, because I think I see the point he's trying to make. This is a complete overstep. Like, he has no business chiming in on this particular facet. One, because I don't think he's done his full research. I think he's watched a couple of movies and said, they blew up tons of buildings. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go on press junket and some such. And also, he did this while promoting his new movie about a pacifist soldier. So maybe there's a bit of personal, he stands to gain a bit of personal, what's the word I'm
You
looking for?
say
Money.
like a
You
come to
stand
Jesus
to
get
moment.
money.
Yeah.
You know, like Johnny Cash had at the end of his career, where he's just like, all right, I better start, atoning for my shit.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, even though this seems to have all the best intentions in the world, I think subversively it's self-serving.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, the story's out there. You know, look it up and make your own judgment. But yeah, Mel Gibson's still a jive sucker, and I mean that's the tone. That's the catchphrase of the night, I think. So
Yep.
far.
Jive turkey, jive sucker, jive something.
Yeah. Jive ass mother. Okay.
Just keep bringing it back with different things on the end.
All right. DJ Herbie Herb, however, gives him 4 stars. What?
Oh.
No. All right. Next news story. Now, this one actually got me though. Wizard World Inc. I'll actually read this one proper because it gets a little into itself.
Mm-hmm.
Wizard World Inc. has filed suit against former Chief Marketing Officer Steve Sheamus. Now, the lawsuit alleges that Sheamus, in his role for the company, diverted autographed products from talent that he contracted himself to appear at the company's shows and sold them, accruing over $100 million in $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Just
$1 million
big
in
difference.
misappropriated access. Big difference, but still a huge sum of money.
That is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from selling like random autographs and stuff.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Now, supposedly Sheamus used outlets owned by members of his extended family to move the goods. In a 2-week span, yeah, now dig this. This is rundown. In a 2-week span, this is from mid-October to now. In a 2-week span, the company's stock dropped 18%. Sheamus presented now this is possibly forged, a letter from his brother Garib. Now he's the former CEO of Wizard. He resigned earlier this year. Now that was demanding like back pay for his brother's efforts, things like basically money that he says he was owed, that he says they were owed, but they suspected the letters were fraudulent. A third Sheamus brother, Kenny, resigned from the board of directors. And Steve diverted all contacts from that point on to his lawyer, and allegedly, another one, attempted to delete all of his company emails. Now, they just went missing. They don't have any hard proof that it was him getting rid of them. They were just gone.
Oh, so he pulled the Hillary.
This is some deep.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So real quick though, for the uninitiated and the layman like me, what does Wizarding Inc. do?
Wizarding Inc. is the company that put on conventions.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they'll have like Marina Sirtis come sign at this thing. Lou Ferrigno come sign at this.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they have like action figures and comics, all that stuff in the midst of all that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they collect all those beforehand. This is one of those. This person was at Comic-Con. Come meet them and then line up for their like I don't know, their small stack of stuff that they'll sign for you or bring your own. We have pre-autographed stuff.
Okay.
That we'll have available to purchase.
Okay.
And they sign it all ahead of time and they send it ahead of time. And that's what this dude was doing now.
Do they still do the catalogs too?
Wizard?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Wizard in forever.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since like high school. I'm not sure if they still did it.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a print.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, that was their moneymaker, man. I remember Keisha used to always go and buy the Wizard bags.
Brother, I stopped reading Wizard magazine when I remember they did if we recast the X-Men movie with members of TRL, who would be who? And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. Enough.
But Carson Daly was at his prime.
Yeah, man.
He was at his prime at the age of 40.
Oh.
Tell me I'm lying.
No, you right there. We only 5 years off from that, brother. Keep that for yourself.
I mean, back then I'm talking about he was in his freaking 40s.
Yeah, no, that sucker was old as dirt before dirt was. Okay.
Messing with was it Jennifer Love Hewitt, whatever her name was?
Nah, Christina Aguilera. They had
her too. I mean, that joker got around. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Well, either way, last year Wizard lost $4.3 million, and they've been cutting back on their shows. Now they're suing to recover "quote unquote" all compensation, salary, commissions, and bonuses paid to Sheamus. Now the money that Sheamus made on the side, and also conveniently, all his siblings have quit the company because that's not suspect at all. Yeah. They own side businesses. Like this is all some like deep mafia family stuff. You know, they kept it on the inside.
Yeah, this is the Irish mob, dude. Yeah. This is the Irish mob
right here. The same one that got Kennedy in office. Like, for real, dude. This is pretty gangster.
Hey, man, I'm down with the shillelagh. I'm in Boston. You know, I wear my Celtics jersey proudly. I point that and get on camera. But you know, this is wild, man. Because we're talking about like convention people. You know, this is
money like, to be made, man.
Yeah, but
Girl Scout cookie game got it on lock too, man. There's somebody greasing their hands off there too. Let's call it what it is, man. Money is money. I don't care how you getting it.
I think that's butter, man.
The butter industry is getting that money, man. Lando Lakes is all over them.
Don't sleep on that country crock empire.
No. Land O'Lakes makes that too.
Well, no, dude, that's why they got Pocahontas there in the middle. She's the hitman.
Yeah, this is
you never see it coming.
This story is about as filthy as it gets, dude.
This is all the mob
families. This is just filthy.
Killer.
Like everyone,
they get you.
Like everyone resigns.
Blood pressure.
he's giving him fraudulent letters. Like, no, really, like I was owed this money, and he told me that the best way to do this was to sell stuff illegally and not tell any of you about it because
They just still owe me.
yeah,
Man.
like no, this is just the filthiest thing I've read all day.
This is on some Gordon Gekko stuff, man. This is like deep Wall Street level
Hey, man,
corruption. I
Reed is
imagine-
good, right?
And I couldn't find a picture of this dude. I imagine he looks like that dude Ellis from Die Hard, the sleaziest stockbroker, cocaine sniffing motherfucker.
But he's got the orange hair, bright orange hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Ellis
Hyper-
with bright orange
hyper
hair.
ginger.
Yeah.
The most gingerest of white collar crime.
'Cause I was picturing Johnny Depp from Black Mass.
You know what? Not
Yeah.
bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
But think more Jack Nicholson, The Departed, out of shape.
Yeah. The old gangster.
Yeah.
The
probably
OG.
singing with Danny Boy like Jack Nicholson in Anger Management. Okay, so before this gets even more racist, it's a Wizard World Inc. story. If you're really into Wizard World conventions, even the magazine we mentioned. I mean, if you're like
The little nostalgia and everything.
yeah, if you're one of the last 4 people on Earth who still reads that garbage, like look into the story because this is the type of corruption we don't normally see in any types of geek avenues, and that's it's a slippery slope in some cases, and that's a dark path that. Brother,
No, we
that
see.
is a
I mean,
dark
that's
path
probably
to
the.
go
That's probably
down.
the. You're right. That's probably the darkest we see, but we see some dirt in geek culture.
We have, but this level is a new.
I mean, like,
that's
I mean-
raising the bar.
Yeah, I mean, the whole
right, go
we
ahead,
had that game that was supposed to drop. It was supposed to be like this weird like Farmville with porn or something like that. They're
Yeah,
supposed to,
yeah.
and all these people invested their money with the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
and then the lead artist just took
Yo,
off with the money.
Herb is still trying to pawn off those T-shirts.
It was like breeding
Still.
season is what it was called. I think the 3 of us were on
Yeah.
that show.
Yeah.
It's like they poured all this money into it. It's like, okay, yeah, all these people. I think they raised like what's it like $45,000 a month
It was
for like a year or some change. And then the lead artist cut loose. He's like one of the founders. And he cut loose with all his art, his
And
intellectual
like
property,
90% of the funds,
and 90% of us are gone. It's like, what? That's horrible. Like all these people's waiting for their freaking
the people waiting for their porn
like
is
they
basically
farm
what's
their
going on
farm
there.
porn,
Yeah.
and it's gone.
Yeah, I mean that's genius, right? No one's gonna want to own up to that
That's
lawsuit.
the worst. That's the worst kind of criminal ever because he found the last faction of Earth on Earth of people willing to pay for porn, and he
yeah.
robbed them. Man,
The poor, the downtrodden,
yeah, it's like
the
finding
misinformed.
it's like finding the last dodo and feeding it like rat poison, and telling it it's bird food. You know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
Yeah,
think we need
birdseed.
more honest nerds.
Mhm, I agree.
Yeah,
Nah, never
So I mean, this
gonna
is
happen.
bad, but I mean, that's pretty screwed up too.
it's all.
But this is really
This
bad.
is-
You're
this
right.
is a new level of screwed up, man. I weep for the future if this is the kind of crushing we're looking at now, because this comes with like wingtip shoes and feathered hair. That's a different level of crime that we're not ready for in the geek community, I think. But look it up and judge for yourselves. Wizard World Inc. is the company. They lost a lot of money, but they're still going. They're not going strong, but they're still going. Period. With their shows, so maybe the next con coming your way might be affected by this. So keep an eye out. I think we've darkened the doorstep of the show enough. I want to go to some light affair and talk to our man of the hour, Mr. Dale Stones.
Hey, what's going on?
Happy to have you back, man. Friend of the
Yeah,
show,
thanks.
Dale Stones.
Mhm.
Anyone who doesn't remember, shame on you. But you actually came on the show earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yep, to promote your own troupe of gentlemen burlesque performers,
Yeah.
Surlesque.
Yeah. We did Dr. Horrible, Geek Peak. It was great. Whole theme of the show was just Dr. Horrible taking over. Went really well, and if you're there, happy to have seen you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep, we were there. We observed you just swinging, just dangling all day, and it was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little funny right now.
Yeah. Did a little preview before we were on Twitch. I'm just timing didn't work out.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. We're doing an encore now, and Dale is here to promote the Old School Game Show, which is an outlet we are also familiar with here. You want to give us the rundown of what's going on?
Yeah, sure. So November 19th, we're doing the Old School Game Show Cardiovascular Spectacular. That was it's a new version of the theme that we ran last time, and basically it's just like it's a tribute to that whole era of the Crystal Light aerobic workout, like television
Yeah.
disaster.
Yeah.
Spandex all
Spandex,
day.
exactly.
Everyone had leotards up to their ass. Like,
Yes.
Oh man, it was
Just
a
deep
terrible
in the
time to be
crack, just
alive.
wedged.
Like
Mhm.
Galad was a thing back then, like on VHS.
Yeah.
Unlimited Kemoto, whole nine
Yeah,
yards.
exactly. Yeah, so
Take
so,
off your Z Cavariccis and put on your all day spandex.
Yeah, wait, I'm not selling this too well. I better start over.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry, lay it on us.
No, it's great. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna be a good time. Old School Game Show. If you've never actually been, it's just it's a great time. You get to come down, win prizes. You get called up from the audience. Got that element of Price is Right. There's a live band, and then there's just a whole theatrical arc that goes on with the cast and Mike D'Angelo, who's just off the walls crazy. It's worth the price alone to just go there and just laugh about it. But yeah, you're laughing at him, not with him. It's important to specify that. So.
All right, well, to our fans who don't know, it's not just a show; it's a performance, like interactive performance. Audience members can be part of the experience, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You get called up, you get to be a part of the games, and it's oftentimes on stage we're actually doing stuff with the audience members, and I won't say what that means. I won't really get into it. You're just gonna have to go.
It's gonna be a
Nice.
Could be
surprise,
good or bad.
guys.
Whoa,
Yeah.
okay, that sounds illicit, Joe. Hold on a second.
Hey, that's pretty cool though.
You may get
Yeah.
slimed, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
It's like, ladies and gentlemen, you will get wet.
Yeah.
Whether or not he means above or below the waist
Remains
remains to be seen.
You,
All right,
you
so-
come home with a prize or come home embarrassed, or
Hey.
somewhere in between.
Or maybe both.
Both, yeah, definitely a
A little bit of
possibility.
A, a little bit of B.
Like,
Yeah.
You may feel a little dirty, but you may like it as well. All right, so what's your part in the show?
So if I remember correctly, and we do some scripts pretty close to the when the show starts, but I'm playing Jack Stones, who's like a fitness instructor who sort of comes out of the TV off the videotape and gives Mike an inspirational monologue halfway through the show to try to best his challenge, which I won't spoil anything, but it goes awful. So I'm supposed to be this inspiring fitness guru, and
Did you channel any inspiring figures from popular culture to deliver this terrible monologue?
no, it's fitness people are weird.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yes, they are.
you look around like So the Galad guy, my dad actually had a VHS tape of him, and he had this weird habit of like putting him in, and then like he didn't have weights, so he would use soup cans. It was like the weirdest thing, like watching this. And this guy, this like Israeli guy from the 80s, like wearing these ridiculous outfits on the beach with his mom, just doing these absurd workouts and like just not taking down the energy for just an entire hour. And you're just
Nice.
sitting there going like, is that what it takes?
It's the cocaine
Dedication.
workout, yeah.
You have to
Dedication,
be-
man.
Yeah, you have to be.
It takes
this-
psychosis.
Yeah.
really, really high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It was the 80s were a magical time until I was 4 when they died. But
What about
My-
the
my-
2000s,
my
man?
mother-
P90X.
Oh, Pete. Well, that's different. My mother had one
Yeah.
of those tapes she's talking about.
He's right.
It was this old football player, Lyle Alzado, and his thing was, I'm doing curls with gallons of milk, and then after the workout, you drink the milk. Like, well, okay, that's kind of, isn't that counterproductive? So you just had a 10-minute workout so you could sit there and chug a gallon of milk yourself?
yeah, the math doesn't work.
No.
Dedication, man. It's the act of.
It does a body good, man.
Oh yeah, he
Mhm.
also died at 32. So I mean, that's maybe a counterproductive calisthenics program. This is not what you're pushing to the people.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to
no,
emphasize.
no, no. Don't take any fitness tips from this show. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I need to go get my leotard. Get
Yeah.
it together.
Exactly. They're
Get
just-
my thigh master. See what I'm missing.
yeah, resistance bands or whatever they use that aren't
Shake
relevant
weight.
anymore.
Shake weight.
Shake weight. Oh, there will be shake weights. I
There
can
will be
promise
sh-
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
They read my letters.
Plural. Shake weights.
Plural. Nice.
Yeah,
Best
you-
show ever.
All right. So this well, first of all, this isn't your first OSGS, right?
No. I'm a permanent cast member, so I've been on probably 15 or 16 by this point.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite themes that I've seen, so I'm really excited for it.
Wait, how many different ones do you have? Because I've been several times, and every time it's different. Do you all rotate? Because I know Jay was particularly pissed.
Mhm.
Like 2 years ago when you missed the wrestling.
Yes.
Oh,
Exactly.
that was a good one.
Yes, my feelings was hurt, and I was still a little mad at P about it. My anger decreased some, but I'm still a little mad.
Yeah, that one.
That no phone call, no text, no nothing.
It's either my favorite or my
Man,
second
you've
favorite.
been
Bro,
hating
he
for-
said it's his favorite.
I mean, we set up the whole Davis Square Theater like a wrestling ring.
Oh, I hate you, P. I hate you. You didn't even tell me that.
Okay,
Oh,
we're gonna go back to the record
yes.
of the show.
You said you set up the whole arena like a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
Bro, you'd even tell me that.
I learned like 2 days before, and I tried to hit you up. I think you were away for the army or something.
Yeah.
Your wife told me to sit and spin. Man, I don't know what's going on right there. Your son gave me the finger. He wasn't your boy yet.
He wasn't.
Well, okay. To be fair, wash away some of that salt in the wound, brother. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Will that show ever come around again? Do you guys like recycle shows or rehash them down the line?
I mean, I would be surprised if that one didn't come back.
Okay.
I would be surprised. It was definitely like a cast favorite. Like we loved that one. It was great getting to hit Mike D'Angelo with a chair.
Nice.
I mean, I would do that every show if I could.
Yeah, brother. I want to welcome
Mike, if you're out there,
all
much
to
love.
the Summer Jam, Summer Slam. We're gonna rock out with our clams out. I know it doesn't rhyme, but you get my meaning.
That was
That's pretty
brilliant.
good. That's
You
pretty
should
damn
be a
good.
hype man, dude.
That's what I do. I'm gonna tag in and then prove you, cause I'm the
Because I'm the intern. Yeah, I was there with you.
Meta Slam. All right, so give our listeners the. Oh, actually, no. Continue this, cause you know the shows from both the inside and outside. Dude, what's your favorite part of these things, man?
Oh man, just seeing those scripts and like getting the first read with the group, because like there's everything works together so well. That we show up and the band's already done, the choreography's done, like everyone comes together in the space. But the first chance we get to actually look at the script and just say those lines out loud, you never know what people are going to deliver or like how they're going to deliver those characters. It's our first time seeing a lot of the jokes, so it's just great when we're all in a room and we're just like all pissing our pants laughing, going, and the audience is going to love this. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That
so
really is.
yeah. So
I like it. I like the fact that it's not just a job. Like you enjoy this.
oh yeah.
Because you're hanging out with, I'm assuming these are folks you build relationships with. These are your friends, and you're able to come together as friends and colleagues to be able to perform, to be able to put on this performance for the audience, and of course with audience participation. But I can only imagine just how fun it is in that whole creative process.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that I really loved at the one that we did. We did one at Laugh Boston, which was it was like like this high school prom sort of episode, and like some of the things that are just the funniest about it, you just cannot predict. Like I was sort of on stage. I was arm in arm with one of my the prom date for the scene, and Mike was like competing for prom king, and like he did this crazy bombastic thing, and he fell right off the stage. There's like a 4-foot drop. It's bigger than this table, but the thing was, he grabbed my arm. It was very action hero. Like he grabbed my arm at the last second, and I was of course anchored to the person who was holding my arm, and we just pulled him right back up after he knocked over like 3 tables and like and he was just like, whoa, I'm up, and it was just like it was like in Boomerang. It was like slow motion.
Nice.
But like just the stuff like that, we're all just sitting there trying to like keep it together so we don't lose the scene. But stuff like that happens.
It's all part of the show, folks.
time.
That guy with the fork in his lung, he's with us. Like,
He'll be all right.
Yeah,
Put some tussin on it. He'll be all right.
yeah,
But that's awesome.
give that man a drink ticket.
So, yeah, like we all know each other. We all hang out. So it's just when that happens, we'll just be like, hey, remember that time Mike almost split his head open?
That's cool. You can work with friends. Like I picked all these guys up off of Backpage.com. It was very sordid business, and now you get to work with people you trust. Well, anyways, give our listeners the information on where they can check the show out.
Yeah, definitely. So November 19th at 7 p.m. at Oberon. Tickets are still on sale. You can get them online, and I think they'll be available at the door too, provided we don't sell out. So just show up 7 o'clock.
They already on sale?
Yep.
All right.
Ticketing link is open, so come on down. Love to see you. Throw your name in the bowl. Try to get called up and win some prizes.
Nice. Oberon's one of our favorite places. It's actually at 2 Arrow Street in Cambridge. So I mean, I highly endorse and recommend getting your tickets early. Because
they usually sell out.
Yeah,
they usually sell out.
As nice as the venue as it is, I ain't trying to do that standing room stuff. Table be all right.
Yeah.
They got a nice balcony. They got a nice like mini mezzanine there with tables and curtains and things. You can sit down all proper like. And if you don't get that, you're standing right in the middle on that hard ass floor. It's like looking up and wishing, like Oliver Twist and some stuff, a kinkier Oliver Twist, or Oliver Twist in the cod piece or something. But anyways,
how did David Bowie get in here?
All right, what's the URL they can pick these up at?
Yeah, it's real simple. www.oldschoolgameshow.com. Ticketing link is in there. Should be able to find it real easy.
All right, cool.
All right.
OSGS, dude. Dale Stones, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I'll look across to Johnny.
Yo.
You said you were the only other person that saw? Doctor Strange is what I'm talking about, because, dude, I love the crap out of this movie, and being alone in this room hurts.
Everyone,
Yeah.
I know people have gone and they're about excited as you are.
Me too.
They were really stoked.
Yeah, I couldn't make it to watch Inception. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. Funny guy. Okay, I'm talking, of course, about Marvel's Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, Mads Mikkelsen. Okay, now I've been pronouncing this wrong apparently. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I've been saying Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I've been saying that.
I like
too.
that one.
I've been saying that too, man.
Yeah, and apparently he's gone on a tirade this last year correcting people.
I just call Solomon
Just get
Northrop.
him
Is what I called him. That's what I called him.
What you just said
I
is
see that.
proper. It sounds like George Lucas gave him his name.
Chiwetel. Yeah, it does sound like some. It's like some Jar Jar
Yeah.
Binks' third.
Yeah, like he's gonna pop up in the Senate in the next Star Wars movie. Like he's just gonna be there.
He's great at being a confusing villain.
He's that dude will send your eyes through your veins. He's just great. He's a great actor.
Yeah, no, he's.
He's one of those people where it's like you're not top billed, but if he's in a movie, I will see it just based on the fact that he's in it because I want to see what he does with whatever he's given.
Yeah, no, he's. I will say he's gifted. His work in 12 Years a Slave was chilling.
Oh my god, so good.
And my performance is still though in the movie Serenity.
Yeah.
He was as the operative. Didn't know who he was back then. He was just this random dude who would do the most heinous stuff with this like half smile. And the whole thing is, I bought him as this like hard religious zealot off of like a made up religion. But the whole thing was he believed in everything he did so much that, yes, I'm killing you. And it's hurting. But no, you're dying for a greater purpose. And I'm just like, damn, that's cold. What? Wow. Okay, all right, go ahead, Debo. And, Chiwetel is in this movie as Mordo. There was a lot of controversy with Tilda Swinton being cast as the Ancient One, too, which is a role historically portrayed in comics and in cartoons
And everywhere
Asian.
else.
Well, there hasn't been that much besides like the comics and cartoons and I guess trading cards and stuff. There was a live action 1970s Doctor Strange show attempt that looked more like, dude, it looked more like 70. It looked more like some 70s porn than like a kid's show.
A lot of TV did back then.
True, but this was like
Handlebar
blatant.
mustache, whole 9 yards.
Yo,
Wasn't that the
it was-
BBC one?
I don't know if it was BBC.
Yeah, it was like
I
a
remember it was-
made-for-TV movie by the
think?
BBC. Yeah.
You sure? Because I remember American accents, and the dude that played him looked like John Holmes in a Sterling Archer turtleneck.
Oh, too late. BBC did it.
Sterling Archer turtleneck.
Yeah. Well, okay.
That's
well,
a disturbing image.
man, that. Okay. The point is the bottom line is that version was crap. John Holmes did a very did John Holmes job. Benedict Cumberbatch, Bandersnatch Cardamom.
It just always makes me laugh when I hear his name, dude. This is really your name. This is really your name.
Benadryl. Benadryl catheter. I call the bento box cummerbund.
That's not it. There's like this little.
That's my favorite.
There's like this little BuzzFeed. It was like, how many times his name been mispronounced or jacked up? What is your favorite mispronunciation of his name? And it's like him doing clearly pressed for Doctor Strange. And at the bottom of the screen it said Benedict Cumberbatch, like Cumberpatch. I'm just like, man, who was the guy whose job was to type the name in?
I'll tell you what though, it's
Some
not
dude on
his job
some
anymore.
dude on his last
He got fired right after that section aired.
Man.
Like Cumberpatch, like Cabbage Patch Kids. But go ahead.
No, we make fun, but I love this movie. I went and had an amazing time, and I didn't go in expecting much. Doctor Strange is kind of a second tier Marvel character, especially now with the popularity of the Avengers and of the X-Men having gotten a resurgence with the younger generation movies. And I'll say even with like TV shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know, Marvel is popular and they're pushing these other characters. No one's really thinking about, well, Doctor Strange, I need to go into the Marvel's magic universe. And this was basically a gamble for the studio. And in my opinion, it really worked out. I thought this movie looked amazing. And I mean, they did seed this cast with freaking amazing actors. Like I think at least like 3 of these people have Oscars, not were up for Oscars, but actually won. You know, Tilda Swinton has 17 for playing every race except white. This might be, and this might actually be my favorite Tilda Swinton performance. And I was of the mindset of, well, this may be whitewashed. I didn't want to completely buy into it, but I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, yeah, but why do they choose her specifically to play the historically Asian character? And you get a sense of why in the movie. And it's not a spoiler to say that the way they not necessarily rewrites, but a lot of stuff is sort of reimagined and updated. And the way they kind of reimagine the Ancient One's background is doesn't necessarily have to be an ancient Asian person, as long as they're ancient and fill the role. And they did that. They answered a lot of questions that people are definitely going to walk into, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And I thought it was handled very well, handled respectfully, and this was almost a prestige format. You know, if at points they didn't have the CG going, okay, now bam in your face with some magic and then a couple of jokes here, and I'd be like, yo, this is actually a prestige film. You know what I mean? I mean, damn, Tilda Swinton's gonna bust up. Oh, okay, perfect example. Well, first of all, hold on, before I go into my high points and low points. The premise of this movie is very simple. They're telling the origin story of Doctor Strange. If anyone's not familiar with this character, he's the primary sorcerer, the primary magic user in the Marvel universe. If you're familiar with DC, I guess he'd be the Marvel allegory for Dr. Fate.
Okay.
Yep.
I can see that.
Yep. But Doctor Strange was a very gifted brain surgeon, who was in a horrible accident and lost the use of his hands in trying to find alternate methods to cure his affliction, because as a surgeon, his hands are his life. He sought once actual physical world and science, the world of science failed him. It was like, you're hosed, you're crippled for life. He went seeking help from the magic realm, from shamans, from wise people, from Dalai Lama types. And eventually that led him to the Ancient One. And that's where the story kicks off. And Benedict Cumberbatch plays that very well. You like him at the beginning of this movie as just this really cocky doctor, which may be a failing because you're not supposed to like this guy. But he just plays it well, where you like him until you don't like him. And when you don't like him, he gives you reason not to, because he becomes a dick. And I was amazed by the performance, because I questioned Benedict Cumberbatch's ability to play. He's a good actor. He plays good roles, but this isn't like his tradition. This is Doctor Strange is an American. He's got to do the accent, and he's got to really portray that I was hot blank, but I was like a Tony Stark type, and then I wasn't. But I've got to come back from it. And, like, I can buy him in the end, but I was worried about whether or not I'd buy him in the beginning. And it's awfully silent here, y'all. I mean, anyone take anything from this?
Definitely. And I would say that I was talking to you about this earlier, how he just crushes this whole line of medical jargon in an American accent. And I'm saying there, like, that's probably the hardest part of the film for him. It's just like rattling off all these medical diagnoses in front of his coworker, and it's Rachel McAdams, right?
Yes, Rachel McAdams.
Forgot about her. I did double check and make sure in my head, but yeah, no, he's just walking down the hallway talking about all these diagnoses, and I'm just like, all right, they're just establishing what a phenomenal actor he is. They're not even trying to like set up that he's a doctor. They're just trying to say that this is the biggest challenge he had to face in this film. And then of course he goes into being just Benedict Cumberbatch with superpowers.
Well, I was also really impressed with It's true though. It's so true.
That's the film, right? Same movie.
I was very impressed with how they straddled the line a bit of having some of that stuff be really heavy-handed, because Doctor Strange's origin is one of those based in like a deep morality of, well, you screwed up and now this is your penance. You'll have to learn a lesson or else you never grow. And it's like, no, that's touched on, but it got to the point of, no, we've got bigger fish to fry. We've got more important things than to just like guilt trip you. And they got to that in a good amount of time. Like they didn't force any issues, and this didn't become a big like sob story of, oh, I'm so distraught and I can't fight and I can't accept responsibility. Like, no, we've got things to do. And he picks up the kung fu, and there's a lot of kung fu in this. If they'd really emphasized that, I would have been on board from day one, because it's far more of an action movie than we were originally presented. We thought Doctor Strange is going to be this and reading a lot of books and something or other. And yes, it is. That's intercut with some of the most amazing visuals. Dude, I was blown away by this. I had heard it'd be good to see in IMAX 3D. I took a gamble, and I was not let down. I thought,
all right, now see, that's important to me, because as a rule, I never watch movies in 3D.
This is
because they waste it. It's like I'm paying $4 extra for no reason. So now I will go see this.
Man, in my
Just
opinion,
just from the trailer and the commercials that I saw, it looked very much, and I said it earlier, like Inception. Like visually, it looked like they were pulling off a lot of things that they were doing in that movie.
With the cities rolling up and
Oh,
all that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot of visuals.
it was done
Yeah,
amazingly.
seems
In
similar.
my opinion, there's only been 3 movies that are really deserving of IMAX 3D specifically, and that's the original Matrix,
Yep.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Inception, which Johnny just mentioned,
Mhm.
and now Doctor Strange.
Really?
Like, it's the latest addition to that. Like, I walked in just like complete gamble. I'll give it a shot. Maybe it'll be worth IMAX, or maybe it'll be worth 3D, or maybe just one of those. You know, it just got a little hyped up. I'm sitting there just like, holy crap, that is beautiful. And then Tilda Swinton like waves her arms, and then something else happens that's even more incredible, and I'm like, yeah. And that's rare to walk in having kind of mediocre expectations and walking out not just like, okay, I'm satisfied, that was good, but blown away by the visuals. I
Yeah.
emphasize by the visuals because the story was good, not great.
Right.
Mads Mikkelsen, good actor. Everyone may know him as Hannibal. He's done a lot of other roles, which he was kind of like remember the movie? Oh yeah, that guy. You know, in Clash of the Titans, he was that guy with the funny accent and the weird lip. You know, in Casino Royale, he was the not the bomber, he was the bombing broker, the bomber broker.
Yep.
That was
Le Chiffre?
Bond was yes, Le Chiffre.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
Bond
Oh,
was
yeah.
playing
Wow,
against
right.
that cried blood. That
Yep.
guy.
Mhm.
He's a good actor. Not really a front man. He was the main villain in this, and he did okay, but did okay for being not really being given much to do. It was just kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm evil because I believe in this guy, so I'm fighting you. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Do you have an end game?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
or are you just evil for the purpose of being evil?
And that was my main concern is after watching, seeing Cottonmouth and Luke Cage and
Yeah.
Kilgrave and Jessica Jones
Mhm.
and Fisk and now the Punisher, it's like the TV game is crushing villains.
Oh yeah.
Just the most scary, chill, compelling characters to watch be bad.
Mhm.
And then you go to the movies and it's just, I always think of this guy because I was so disappointed in
John Travolta.
yeah, him too, but no, the main villain from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah,
Ronan.
That
Yeah.
that fecular
Dude,
child.
Just
That was
just
ridiculous.
So
You mean petulant?
Yeah.
No, I know what I said.
so tragic.
Well,
Because that
Like
to
an,
me
an
was
adult whining baby. is what it
yeah.
was.
That to me is like if they focus even like 5 minutes more screen time on him and give him something to do, that's what takes that movie from like wow, this is a lot of fun to like holy crap, this was amazing. Like this could be like one of the best movies of this year or
Yeah.
this decade, and it just that villain was so flat. And like every movie comes out, I'm like maybe this is the one. And with the exception of Civil War, which is a little murky anyway, for everyone's kind of the good guys and the bad guys in that movie.
The villains are all of us.
Yeah, so deep.
Oh my God, I just got that.
I was hoping, but all right, I'm gonna see it. Like it's
Yeah, no, I
for fun alone, it looks amazing.
I highly recommend it. Mads Mikkelsen was not on that level of ineffectualness.
Okay,
for,
that
a
gives me
villain,
hope.
But he was kind of like it's not his performance that was bad. It was understanding his motivations.
Yeah,
But with a movie like this, it's easy to get lost in the plots, and sometimes you just have to realize I'm not going to get everything the first time. It may be worth seeing a second time.
yeah.
But definitely worth seeing at least once. I recommend the best quality image you can find in your area. If that's IMAX, cool. If that's 3D, cool. If that's IMAX 3D, go for it. If you have D-Box, amazing. Herb, what do you got, brother?
Dude, man, I want to ask, spoiler free, does it have a cool after credit scene?
I don't know about cool. It's poignant if you like the movie you sat through. They are poignant. There is 2. There's a mid-credits and a post-credits.
Nice.
They're both poignant if you like what you saw. They're awesome if you know Doctor Strange. If you don't, they're just kind of like, okay, yep, yeah, all right. If you somehow hated the 2 hours that you sat through, then I mean, you probably leave anyways, so don't worry about it.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a mid-credits scene and the post-credits.
For the MCU, is this a good setup for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, seeing that's the next one that's in the shoot?
No,
Because imagine just followed up. I mean, in terms of like it's how how good it is because you both are raving about it.
Mhm.
I mean, I seen Civil War receive the same sort of rave reviews like this is amazing, and you see Doctor Strange come after and like this is amazing. I mean, is it safe to say that Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 has some big shoes to fill? At that being the next movie in the shoot? Or should we drop it down a little bit based on what Mike just said? Should we drop it down just a little bit?
Now, visually, yes.
Mhm.
Story-wise, no. And I'll tell you, and the reason I say this is because there were several allusions to the rest of the Marvel movies
Mhm.
in this picture in Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
but you really had to pay attention to realize them.
Mhm.
And only one did they make kind of like obvious because it was one of those moments where someone said something and he was like, "What? But huh? What?" And then they cut the scene real quick. Like that was almost literally what he said. It was like, dude says something and then just walks away in a moment of confusion, almost like out of a sitcom. He's like, "Huh? What?" Makes some funny noises, and then it's over. And besides that, there were the other ones you had to pay attention, like really listen to background dialogue and stuff. And they were talking. Oh, damn! I don't want to spoil it because it's cool if you catch it. If
Gotcha.
you don't worry about it. It was there. Watch it a second, third time, and you'll get it, and you'll be like, "Oh, I was an idiot a year ago."
Yeah,
But
I do say though. I mean, it is pretty formulaic as far as all the Marvel films go. You know,
Mhm.
if you're expecting some sort of like breakout, movie that offers you something new, it's probably not going to be that movie.
Mhm.
But it's just like the other origin stories. They got a good formula. They're banking on it,
Mhm.
and it's fun to watch. So money's worth, definitely.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Definitely
All right.
good action, decent story, beautiful, amazing. It's impossibly beautiful movie. I recommend seeing it in IMAX in 3D.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right.
Gotta catch it.
All right. So James, my man, JM the Thriller Priest, the most informed man in sports entertainment.
Don't set the bar too high. Set the bar too high.
Oh, okay, fine. A brother that read a wrestling magazine once back in 1996.
With Mr. Perfect on the cover.
A man who knows who D'Lo Brown is.
He's the man, dude.
He was.
D'Lo
Yeah.
Brown was the man.
All right, but you have the Hell in the Cell report for us, bro. Let us know what's going down.
Yes. A little D'Lo Brown story after this. I'll tell you if you
okay.
want to know. It's hilarious.
Lay it on us.
All right, so Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna go over the 3 Hell in a Cell matches because we're a little tight on time. Overall, it was WWE's most progressive pay-per-view, and I'll tell you why in a second. The Hell in a Cell, typically with this pay-per-view, they usually only end the match, the final pay-per-view match in the Hell in a Cell, which effectively is, for those of you who may watch wrestling, may have fell out of wrestling, just kind of, what's a Hell in a Cell? Effectively is when they put the giant cage around it and put a top on it. Is really what it is. So they lock them in the cell. So they did
the giant cage from the rafters, brother.
pretty much. You watch it come down, and there's a top on it, and
No, people
Hold
know. I'm
our
sorry.
yards.
I just really want to do that voice. I'm sorry, man.
somewhere Randy Savage is smiling just a little bit. So there were 3 matches in Hell in a Cell, and they were all for the title. So Roman Reigns went up against Rusev for the title, for the United States Championship. Honestly, it was just a smash 'em up fight. They worked the cell pretty good. I mean, for the most part, it was them using tables and chairs and mostly the stairs because these are both 2 big guys. So they'll pick up the steel stairs and throw it at each other. And Reigns walked away with the title. Him holding on to the title. So it wasn't really much to it. Just 2 big guys fighting. And that's really about it. Don't look for big spots or anything for that.
Well, it sounds a little blasé, though. They were giving Reigns a big push early at the start of this year. What happened to that?
I mean, the big push was forced. The people don't want to see it because it was crystal clear they were giving him the push because he's a big guy. That's it. Big guy who looked like a wrestler. So the fans weren't buying it.
Damn.
They weren't buying it because he wasn't a believable character. The guy can't talk well. When we say talk, he means like he can't cut a promo real good.
Yeah.
He's just a big guy. He was trying so hard, and the fans were not liking it to the point where WWE to this day was still tune down the boos in the arena and turn up his music so they'll play with their level. So you at home watching it are thinking, wow, they kind of like this guy. No, they're tuning it down so you don't hear the boos because they're trying so hard to make you like him. It's like, nah, dude, we don't like him. Too bad.
Damn.
Because for the next match we're going to talk about for the WWE Universal Championship, it's Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins because people actually like Kevin Owens because he's a chubby guy. Necessarily call him out of shape, but he's a chubby guy who could move real well, who could wrestle, who could talk, who's been in the game for 17, 18 years on independent circuit. I mean, people were following this guy, but he's wrestling in the gym. You know what I mean? High school gym, National Guard armories, people remember him from there. And they see him on the big stage. People love him. So it's kind of like, why do they love this guy, but not this guy we want them to love? And Vince being a 70-year-old guy, he wants you to love what he loves. You better love it. So he's going to try to force you into liking it. So it's kind of weird with this particular match. I would say it was the best Hell in a Cell match on the entire card. Seth Rollins and And Kevin Owens did a great job in terms of utilizing the cage, utilizing the space, and thinking of interesting ways of utilizing the other materials that are there. So one thing they did with the tables was incredibly shocking to the point where I jumped out my seat because it was like, wow, this is crazy. They set up a table between the edge of the ring and the wall of the cage, and they took another table, put it at a 45-degree angle on top of it, and then powerbombed it through both tables. Which I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me! Like this guy can legit get hurt, but they pulled it off masterfully. It was great. Owens went through 2 tables, but somehow, some way, he was able to win. Well, I mean, he had the help of Jericho. Jericho came out, got himself locked in the cage with him, and he pretty much tag teamed them and beat the hell out of Rollins. And Owens kept the belt.
Yeah, very fair setup.
Very fair setup. It was one of those. The ending was cheap, so it sucked for Owens in that regard because we need to make sure Owens is established as the guy. So to have his boy come in and help him, it kind of cheapens it a little bit, especially because it was such a good match. Because these two guys have been fighting since Ring of Honor days, Rollins and Owens, when it was Kevin Steen and Tyler Black when they were going at it back in Ring of Honor days, and once again in National Guard armories and freaking high school gyms. So for them to do it on this big stage was a great match to watch. But like I said, the ending kind of cheaped it.
That's why I'm surprised, man. It seems like Vince's style to write in the actual playbook there that, okay, once he's locked in the cage with you, there's no escape, and then he turns on his boy, you know?
Mm-hmm. You figure so? I was hoping for a turn to happen. I was hoping for Jericho to turn on him, but I guess they're going to stretch that out a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Say again?
So I'm not alone in that.
Nah, I think most fans are expecting this turn to happen between these two, but I think it's going to take a little time for it to happen. And when I mentioned earlier about how this was one of the most progressive pay-per-views for WWE is because they actually this is the first time that they ended a pay-per-view with a women's match. So it was a women's Hell in a Cell. First time they ever done a women's Hell in a Cell. Yeah. I was a little concerned about how this was going to pan out, a women's Hell in a Cell. Not necessarily because of it being women, but how they're going to utilize it. Because with Hell in a Cell, for me, in order for Hell in a Cell to work, you have to do one of two things. One, you have to make sure that you they show color, which is bleed, or they have to do high spots, like go through tables and all that. It's still sexist, but they're not going to let the women have their heads busted open, bleeding everywhere. They're not going to let it happen. So they got to figure out how to do high spots in terms of doing power bombs through tables and all that. And they tried it, and they did it before the match started. So they had a little pre-match scuffle on the outside where Charlotte Flair went up against Sasha Banks, who's the champion, and Charlotte Flair powerbombed her through a table, through the announcer's table. And if y'all watch pro wrestling, those announcer tables are not easy to break. So Sasha Banks is roughly probably like 100 pounds soaking wet. So when she powerbombed her to the table, she slammed into it, and then the table broke. So she was in tremendous amount of pain. It was like, oh my God, I felt for the woman.
I mean, okay, I'm not cheering on her getting hurt. But
it's like word that they actually didn't take a cheap shot there. Yeah. But the problem is it set up a bad start to the match because then they did a whole, we got to stretch her, we got to take her out and put her on the stretcher. Yeah. Then they said, she can't give up the belt, and she did the whole dramatic ripping off the neck brace and running back to the ring so she doesn't have to forfeit the belt. And it's just like it slowed down momentum. Swinging
her severed leg at her,
It really did. It just slowed down the momentum of the match, and I felt it was because behind the scenes, Vince McMahon did not want this to be the final match. He did not want the women to close out the show. He was against the fact that they were the ones who were the main event of the show.
Dude,
and it's garbage because the only reason I went through is because Triple H screamed. I was like, listen, you got to make this happen. Like, we're at a prime opportunity here. These women are the best women we got in this organization. Let them close out the show.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important for them to close out the show, and they can do it. The problem is I felt as if the creators, the creative team micromanaged the story. So these women couldn't go out there, put on a match they normally would, because in the back of their mind, they have all this pressure of, I got to make this work. I got to make this work. To the point where the final closing of the match was so rushed, it was ridiculous. To the point where Charlotte tried so desperately to throw Sasha through a table, but the table wouldn't break because Sasha was so light that she just slid across the table. Literally, she tried to fling her to the table, and she just skidded across the table twice. And she ended up just hitting her with a finishing move, and that was it. And it's just one of those sort of things where it's like, if you gave them the creative freedom to be able to do what they want to do, they could have figured it out. They could have done a number of things with tables and chairs. Like Charlotte had her in the figure 8, and Sasha's, trying to make sure she can't tap, so she reaches for the chair, and she's just smacking her with the chair while she's in a figure 4 leg lock. And it was just like, that was pretty cool that she was able to reach and smack her with the chair. It's very rare you see a woman smacking another woman with a chair. So they brought all these other elements there. I just felt that it could have been much better utilized if you gave them creative control and not have an old guy who's 70 years old who doesn't really want the main event anyway, calling all the shots from the back.
Yeah, dude. I feel like he's the Ike Perlmutter of sports entertainment.
That what?
The Ike Perlmutter of sports entertainment. He's the Marvel dude that made no blacks and no women featured in my. Yeah, Vince is just in there. We can't have women actually doing stuff.
Don't get me wrong.
Besides
Don't get me wrong. I got nothing but love for Vince, but he's a product of his time.
Yeah,
is what it is. And
if it was up to him, okay, all women's matches would be accentuated with the Benny Hill music. All right, so let's not give me too much.
So overall, great pay-per-view as a whole. It was very monumental for them to even have women close out the show in the Hell in a Cell. My fear is that because it's so micromanaged and there is some criticism on the way it closed out, that it gives an excuse for it not to happen again. I hope that's not the case, though.
I hope not, too, man. So all in all, this was a good pay-per-view.
Hold on, watch it. Get the network. $9.99. Help my stock increase. Let's go.
All right, thanks, brother. All right, this has been the Geek Down here on WEMF Radio. I want to thank you all for joining us for another exciting, epic of a show. I want to thank our in-house guest, Dale Stones.
Thank you very much. Great to be here as always.
Dude, friend of the show. You're welcome back anytime, buddy. All right. Want to thank TJ Mikey Mike. Excuse me. MC Mike Lefty Lewis.
In the house. Not a jive turkey.
Absolutely not a jive turkey. You want to thank my homeboy, James. Damn it. Do you want to be the Thriller Priest or do you want to be Orange Juice? Because I figure it's about time we decide on one.
Stick with the Thriller Priest. I like that. We had to go for like a year or some change.
Yeah,
I want to change it up. I could be Method Man. All the AKAs, the Iron Lung, Tacalian Stallion.
It's only an hour show, bro. Marla Gibbs. All right. And of course, just Johnny.
Yep.
Marla Gibbs, the man who also has helped us to look extra pretty on Twitch there.
I did all the makeup.
You're welcome. Dude. All right, of course, DJ Herbie Herb keeps it sounding amazing, crisp, and delicious every week.
Holler, guys.
There it is. There it is.
Yes,
stick with it.
Perfect. Right. You know what? You've earned that. We won't revoke your ghetto pass this time. All right. Want to thank you all for listening.
He's in the cave. He's got his Precious back there.
He's hiding behind his. Man, I don't want to know what you got below that. Anyways,
the sticky green Precious is what he has back there.
Man.
We'll figure it out after the show, guys.
There's so many things wrong with that. All right, if you heard anything tonight you want to chime in on, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com or just hit up the website and shoot us a message right on there at geek-down.com. Also, check us out on social media. We're on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/geekdown. We're on Twitch, of course, at twitch.tv/thegeekdown. On iTunes, look us up. Just search Geek Down, and we'll come up in there. Look for the familiar label. Look for the union label. All right. Facebook, on Twitter, it's Geek Down.
Instagram too, right?
Instagram, yes, Geek Down. Instagram's been kind of we've been slacking on that.
YouTube.
YouTube/Geek Down. Yeah, we're full coverage, baby. You know what? If you also check out this episode and hit us up, we'll give you the full rundown of URLs. And also right here on WEMFradio.com. You know what we'll do? We'll update the show bio with all those social media URLs as well. And as always, you can catch us every Monday nights, 9 p.m. right here on WEMFradio.com. We'll catch you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Peace.
Good night.
Now you might be asking yourself, how can